I don't even like guns. You know what I mean? I don't even like holding guns. You know, I didn't touch a single one of those fake weapons during the shoot. It's not something that makes me feel good. The intention of that video is not to be like, you know, like, whoa, that's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think people will misunderstand that.
Yeah, it's evil. It is horrible.
Alex and Darius, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. We're creeping is maybe the right word, closer to Halloween, which also just happens to be the day that you guys are releasing the new album. We're about 2 weeks away of that as we're talking. So how do you feel right now? I know that these songs weren't written and recorded yesterday, but you're now really coming close to that, you know, general release. I'm sure there's a lot of administration happening, a lot of interview stuff, just a lot of shit you have to deal with right now. Or is it nice and calm and relaxing? What are you doing?
You know, it's pretty relaxing at the time. We've been waiting. Like, we've been sitting on these songs for a good period of time now. We started writing these songs, like, I guess you could say, back in 2024 when we booked our first session at Joshua Tree. And then we wrote for 6 months all the way up until we left for the studio.
Yeah, it feels really good. I mean, we just put out a song today, actually. We put out Looking Glass with Matt from Boundaries. And I know that's one people were looking forward to when they saw the track listing. And it's one I've been looking forward to putting out too. That's one that, like, every time I showed my friends some of the record, they were like, that one fucking rips, dude, you know? So it felt really good to get that one out following New World Killer, which was, like, obviously a fucking slammer, you know what I mean? So it's good being able to, like, give the audience these little different tastes of the record, because I feel like all the songs, Lights Out, New World Killer, and Looking Glass so far, they're very different from each other. And I think that really is, like, a good depiction of how the record is, you know? So we got, like, just under 2 weeks till it comes out. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Let's, I'm not even going to ease you guys in with too many, like, you know, simple questions. Let's dive in deep straight away. Let's tackle some big things. You know, as the band says, you know, if you step into the room with spite, this is what you get. We live in a world where so much feels very manufactured, if you will, right? Like, authenticity is sometimes hard to find, and it seems to be like maybe not the only, but one of the key elements that this band want to have as its identity, if you will. So let's start there then. Like, for both of you, what does authenticity really mean? And I guess both on a stage or in a studio, because I can imagine that both of you are different animals in those different settings.
For me, I think it's just throwing everything you have into it. Like, I feel like that's showing that you love something, how enthusiastic you are about it, how much time you put into something. And this is all we do, and this is all we think about. And for us, like, people will say that we're a very serious band, and that's the truth. Like, the theme around our band is kind of serious. And my argument is that I think even bands that are funny, even bands that make something else their kind of like theme or whatever, that's fine. But as long as you throw yourself 100% into it and it's genuine, I think that's authenticity.
Yeah. Darius, for you as the front man, authenticity often also has another, you know, has to have a different dimension as well, because you're the one speaking the words for everybody, right? When it's a live show specifically, how do you look at that?
I don't think there's, like, two answers for that. When it comes to the record, I think that that's kind of why we went to Will, is because Will has that very, I don't want to say raw, but it sounds like a real band, his records, right. You know, and it's because he records like that. And I think Spite has always been like a very analog band. You know, we like to use the live cabs and the stage monitors, and everything is very loud and real. And I think we really wanted to capture that on this record. So I think that's kind of like our form of the authenticity. And you hear it in the album. You hear our influences that we grew up on, like a lot of the old records that we loved as kids. We threw some of our favorite things in this one too. So it's just like a combination of all the things that really make us who we are in this album, you know? As far as the stage, man, I mean, that's my place to just throw everything out. It keeps me a much more happier, calm, and collected person. And I have a very healthy outlet to channel all the negativity in my life. And I really throw it up there. Every day is an opportunity to just get all that out. And I think that that's kind of what music is. I think it's, I mean, I don't want to say it's what it should be, but it is, that's what it is for me, is an extreme outlet. And I kind of like, as far as like enjoying it goes, like when I hear aggressive music and I see bands play, I want to see them throw themselves into it. And I hate seeing a band that has this like awesome music, but they just stand there and they just play it. It's like a recital or something, you know what I mean? So yeah, Spite's really, I always kind of put us, you know, in the category of being a live band. I really think so.
When you try to balance both your, like, exercising your own demons in a way that you were just saying, Darius, balancing that with holding up an at times extremely uncomfortable mirror for society, how hard is it to find that balance to make sure that you're not completely having just an internal conversation, if you will, or if you're only focused on like, hey, everybody, look how shit this part of life is. How finding that balance, is that something that is that a conscious effort for the band when you're writing, creating? Does that come quite organically? Like, help me understand.
Well, for this album, I think we wrote all of the lyrics first and then kind of conceptualized it afterwards, because we just ended up writing about that kind of theme. And I think I like writing about that kind of theme in general. I did a lot of that on Dedication to Flesh as well. It's just a very real concept. I think it revolves around people being able to talk about issues out loud and expressing their ideas and like kind of dealing with that internal monologue and deciding on things of whether you should do something, whether you should not do something, and having that kind of restraint on yourself to make those decisions.
I think on the last, since the last record, me and Alex have just been through a lot of very like world turning things in our lives. And I think that really came out in this record. You know, I think they're just very talking about the internal monologue. Like there were just so many instances in our lives where we had to be the bigger person. And I think that that the music is our outlet to where we finally can have a safe place and respectable place to express our anger, and also in a way that isn't so specific and people can relate to it in their own ways, you know?
Like New World Killer almost like it's more than a title. It feels like a mission statement in a way. And, you know, it's like, you know, tear down with what I assume, rebuild in a different way. Just a bit of an outlier question. Like if there was like one thing in this world that this album could, you know, truly destroy or take away, what would that one thing be for you?
Oof. Big question.
That is a big question.
If we're going to the concept of lights out and like around songs like that, which I think really kind of sum up the record.
I think that the world has lost a huge sense of communication and community. and we do touch on that in a lot of the subjects on this record. And if there's one thing that I think we could really start over on, is learning how to recommunicate with each other. And even though people are different, we can still connect. And that sounds like a weirdly positive message, right? But I think it's why there are so many of the things that we've had to deal with and that make us so angry and violent, is because of the misunderstandings and the lack of communication.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds kind of weird and like a tangent, but if I'm going to pull something away like that from it, I guess,
a sense of community is going away, and at the same time, and I think that's what you guys also quite on the nose bring out in the Lights Out video, is that some of community that is being built to manipulate or to abuse, if you will, right? So so we're definitely not in a fantastic state there. You mentioned that song before. Obviously, I think I assume that many people that are watching this interview will have seen that video, which, for me, I mean, I'm a European that's living in Canada, right? So, for American standards, I'm as far left as you can imagine people could be. And we definitely have different ways of looking at freedom of expression and art and so on. I can imagine that with that video. Is there like a voice in the back of your mind in the States that you go like, we live in a country where at least 50% of the people are going to have some serious issues with a video like that?
Yeah, for sure. It's a touchy subject, but I think, metal has never been foreign to taboo subjects, you know what I mean? Especially violence and things like that. I don't know, man. I mean, it is a dark matter, but I don't even like guns. You know what I mean? I don't even like holding guns. I didn't touch a single one of those fake weapons during the shoot. It's not something that makes me feel good. The intention of that video is not to be like, whoa, that's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think people will misunderstand that.
It's evil. It is horrible, and it is a depiction of something really dark. And then there you go, the way the world works, something like that lined up with the release. So it's like, it's really, it is a reality that we live in, unfortunately, and that's something we can't deny. So
yeah. All right.
Oh, that song specifically revolves around how like the most dangerous people are the people that have nothing to lose. And it's like, that song specifically talks about how it's, people will always virtue signal and get carried away with like saying things about people and to people. But one day, if you just say the wrong thing to someone, that person might have nothing to lose and they might retaliate and react against you. And that's not something we want to promote. You don't want to virtue signal for the sake of attention and say things for the sake of attention and to stoke anger in people. I feel like that's a first step.
Even if you think you're right, I think people need to think about what they're putting out into the world a little bit. And you could say that we're making a mistake by what we're doing that way. But, we're artists, I guess. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
There you go.
I think we're not very outspoken people on the internet in general about, current events or things like that. I think the music is where we're able to express ourselves.
Despite the fact that some of the themes and then also the visual elements of some of the videos, it might touch on some things that are very prevalent or big debates in your home country. Despite all of that, has it been somewhat of a I don't know if surprise is the right word, but despite all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but despite the days getting quite some global attention, And we live in a world where whatever you think of streaming services and the internet and all that kind of stuff, it does give artists the chance to understand, holy crap, we've got X many thousand listeners in this part of the world that we never thought would even, know about us. Is it somewhat surprising in a positive way to see that you've got fans all over the world now?
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a while to build a fan base, and you're always trying new things when you're writing new music. And I think as you get to your fifth album, I think that's the hardest part about writing the music, is that, like, at first you'd write for whatever reason that you want to. It's all just fun. Right. But you do have to recognize that once you get to your fifth record, you are now recognized by people because you're writing a certain way. And we do have to keep that in mind when we're writing the music. Like, why do people like us in the first place?
Okay. So I want to ask about, sorry, go ahead, Darius.
Well, I'd say as far as like reaching globally, Spite really waited a long time to tour internationally. We've been a band for coming up on next month, 11 years. And it's kind of wild to think about. But I still think we are, like, I feel old, but I still feel like we're a young band at the same time. We still have so much to do,
Yeah.
But we waited a long time, and I think that was kind of cool. I think we made Europe, we made Australia, we made those places, the UK, wait. And I think we picked up that traction. You're like, now you're getting that, you're being seen globally. I think we're picking up that traction finally now after just like touring there a few times. And in those, it's been 3 years since we started touring internationally, and we've repeatedly just gone. And I think that's the move, is to just keep going back and showing, again, Spite's a live band. We need to show those people what we're about. It's important,
Yeah. Well, you're about to go back on tour, Fit for a King. Alex, Darius said earlier that, for him, a show is the right way for him to kind of just like get everything out of his system in a healthy way. And he likes to walk away with a big smile on his face from a show. In your perspective, all these people that are coming to watch your show, like, what is your hope that, like, what is the one thing you want your audience to walk away with after a Spite show?
Oh, I just
apart from a severe lack of energy at the end of that show.
I know how much adrenaline I'm feeling and how much I want to feel the noise on stage. And I can only hope that people that are watching us are feeling the same thing, like kind of just feeling that energy and noise hitting them at the same time. Darius mentioned the cabs. It's all playing into how important that is for us, just like this wall of sound and just being pummeled at once. That's what's important to me.
I think when I was growing up, going to shows and going to shows with some of my friends or hearing people talk in the community and stuff, I remember this repeating theme that would come up where people would like see a band and then they would come to town later and they'd be like, I already saw them. You know what I mean? And that always bugged me. I was like, oh, like you saw the band and like that was it, right? Like it must have been pretty okay then. You didn't care to see them again. Like I've always, like, with Spite, I'm like, the live performance, I want to be such an experience that people are like, whoa, and they were like, I want to feel that again. You know what I'm saying? So when Spite comes to town, the same people will keep coming and coming and coming. You're not just like, just a quick little like show for some, a forgettable band for someone. You know what I mean? I never want to be a band that someone goes, yeah, I saw them, I don't need to see them again.
Spite for me is one of those bands that is like hilariously undefinable in a way. Like depending on which reviewer reviews you, they talk about a deathcore band, a death metal band, a new metal band. Like I've seen so many labels for you guys. Maybe we should just call it metal. I don't know, or rock and roll. But as you are, so when you had the lyrics and the themes, what you wanted to talk about, and you then go into writing music, are you proactively looking to push outside of boundaries of subgenres and so on to make something different, or was that something that just kind of happened as you were trying to find the right sounds to tell the story? Because I can't call you a deathcore band, I can't call you a nu metal band, I'm not going to call you a death metal band, right? Like,
No, I think Darius mentioned it earlier, but it's just we write directly from our influences, like from what I listened to growing up, and I feel like that's the best way to kind of differentiate yourself from all the other bands, is how like you incorporate your influences rather than just following what's popular.
right.
Like, and I think for Spite, because obviously we start out sounding a certain way, but you can't make 5 albums playing in a chromatic box on, you know, the beginning of a guitar.
Right.
And I think that's what we figured out, is that Darius is just kind of the element that makes Spite what it is over the top of these riffs. So I was able to kind of break outside that box, change the keys, and that overall changes the energy throughout the record.
Spite, I don't like being put in a box. You know what I'm saying? I think, again, I've talked about this before in interviews and stuff, but like Spite is just a metal band. You know, we'll always play metal music. It'll always be pissed off and aggressive, right? But there's so many ways throughout metal music to accomplish that and express that without having to be just in one little corner of it, right? And we listen to so many different bands. We love all kinds of metal, you know what I'm saying? And I think we love all these different aspects of it. Like, why wouldn't we pull from all those when we're making music we enjoy, right? As long as we keep, like Alex is kind of talking about, I think he's saying with my voice, is that like I kind of set that core element of Spite. When you hear that voice, you're like, that's Spite, right? But it gives that, we're able to expand on the universe a little bit with the guitar and open things up a little bit and have it still be fun. Because I think what he's kind of saying is, when you do the same thing, the mashing and the bottom, after a while, it gets really tired. You know what I'm saying? And I think those things are awesome and I love it, but they're more impactful when you kind of place them here and out and try other ways of accomplishing that, you know?
More importantly, we're never getting rid of those songs from our discography. We always play those songs live because we love them so much. And when we're writing new songs, we're always thinking about how we can incorporate these new songs within our old ones so they flow together. So I don't think we're writing anything too jarring that's different from our old stuff.
We're not straying too far, but yeah.
All right. So we know for all these upcoming shows that you're not just going to play songs of the new album. It's going to be a mixed bag, and it's going to flow well. Alex, Darius, thank you so much for opening the door and allowing me to dig a little deeper behind the meaning and the concepts of this album. I really appreciate it. It's apart from all the heavy and the darkness and all the shit, it's also just a lot of fun. It's a fun record. Right? Like, I had a big smile on my face when I was listening to it for the first time. And I have a feeling a lot of people, new fans and old fans, will have that same smile when they hear the album for the first time, or they come check you out when you're on the road again. It's going to be busy for you, so, relax now, because you won't have a lot of time going forward. Have so much fun on the road and with the release of the album. Have fun on Halloween. I don't know if you're more stay at home, watch a movie, or go to a club dressed up like a pumpkin, but whatever you do, have so much fun.
We'll be playing a show.
There you go. That's right. You're already on the road. Fantastic. Well, have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And I hope to see you on a stage soon.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Jasper. Thank you.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.